So I wanted to talk a little bit about the significance of this moment. Again, this class is about the activation of the ascended ones, right? So who are the ascended ones? The ascended ones are those among us who chose to take the 2020 vision that was received by us all last year. 2020 vision means we had the opportunity to see all that there is, all that there was, and all that there was not for exactly what it was and what it was not. Many of us chose to use the 2020 timeline to look at, as I call 2020, the junk drawer year, right? Many of us have places in our home that look cute. And we have our aesthetic and we have our little pillows and our altar and everything is all cute. Then you have that junk drawer, that drawer that maybe you don't pay much attention to, that maybe has cords or it has dust, and maybe you just don't want to look at it. And 2020 gave us the opportunity, regardless of whether you wanted to look at it or not, baby, you saw it all. You saw it all for exactly what it was. And the ascended ones chose to take the time to just observe it, right? Sometimes slaying your demons is not necessarily about overcoming them. Sometimes slaying your demons is just to acknowledge that they're going to show up when there's an opportunity for growth. Many of us think about growing in life and we think about overcoming trauma or overcoming fear, and we think that fear goes away. We think that the demons don't show up. Oh, they always show up. They might not show up as loud. They might not show up as present. They might be more in the background. And the opportunity in 2020 was for us to face them, to look at them dead in the eye, to ground ourselves in Earth Mother Onile and say, I shall not be moved, and to activate those sacred currencies of wellness and spirit and community and collaboration and agility to say, you know what? No more. I'm going to do this work. And I'm not going to say fortunately, because we know that people have their own sovereignty. We know that people have their own free will, that you choose to ascend. Ascension is a mindset. Ascension is not something that just happens. It's something that you make a decision to do and say, you know what? I'm elevating. I'm going to keep moving forward. And so I'm sure that all of you have people in your life that could have had the same opportunity to do that in 2020, but they did not choose to look at their demons. They did not choose to address the childhood trauma. They did not choose to look at the shadow. It was easier for them to ingest the feed that they were being given of distraction, of doom, of gloom, of destruction. It was easier for them to look at everybody else's junk drawers, to point fingers on what the White House junk drawer looked like, or the politicians over here junk drawer looked like. But they didn't really want to take a look at their own drawer. And so because we know that as we stepped into the winter solstice, for those of you who came and joined us, we had a very, very powerful activation for the winter solstice. And if you know any of my work, you know that my work is always aligned with the seasons. So December 21st represented the winter solstice. It represented the time on the earth where the earth goes into a place of darkness. We know that darkness is where creation is born. Darkness is where you plant a seed before you want it to see grow. Darkness is the cosmos that birthed the cosmic womb of Pachamama. Pachamama's darkness birthed the cosmic womb of humanity. Yo mama and their womb birthed the cosmic womb of you, right? So everywhere you see life, you see water and you see darkness. And we are in the season of that right now. And we will be in that season from December 21st all the way till March 21st. And so that is why your ancestors did not celebrate the new year during this time, because they understood that this is a time of death, of transformation, of regeneration. This is the time of the year where we seed the fertile soil of our desires, where we plant them into the soil to see what we want to grow and sprout in the spring, bloom in the summer, and harvest in the autumn. And all of the equinoxes and solstices are aligned with that. But there's more, because we chose these bodies in this time, in this lifetime. Every single one of you said, you know what? Y'all was up in the stars and the cosmos and said, you know what? I'm going to be about that. I'm going to be here for the 2020 reset. I'm going to be here when everything shifts. And so we also experienced on the night of the winter solstice a grand conjunction between Saturn, which rules responsibility, Saturn, which rules commitment, Saturn, which rules lessons, Saturn, which rules, what is the word I'm looking for? Not control, but not commitment, not control. Lessons. It's kind of like the hard work. Saturn is here to bring the hard work. And I don't mean hard as in easy and hard. I mean hard and maybe the work that we choose to ignore, right? Rigor, structure. Saturn is very about structure and rigor. And this is the way things have to go. And it's kind of fits in a box. And it conjoined with Jupiter. Jupiter, as we know, is one of the largest planets in the cosmos. Jupiter, we know, rules luck, optimism, seeing the cup as being full, right? Adventure, right? As Carolina was talking about being a Sagittarius, because I stated we are birthday twins. So Sagittarians are ruled by Jupiter, Jupiter's freedom. So we had the conjunction of this rigor and structure and lessons coming next to freedom and expression and adventure. And those two planets had not come together to be visible with the naked eye on the night of the winter solstice in 800 years. So the conjunction that we went through on December 21st had not been seen with the naked eye on the winter solstice for 800 years. I just want you all to think about that, right? Because it sounds cute and we're like 800 years and it sounds cute, but really think about like 800 years ago, right? Think about the political system 800 years ago. Think about probably what your ancestors' reality was 800 years ago. Think about the fact that there's more information that we are being exposed to in a day, in a single day, than the people in 800 years probably had experienced in their whole lifetime. More likely generations and generations, if you added those generations together, had not been exposed to more data than we are in a single day. And the fact that wherever you are right now, whatever you're going through right now, you made the choice that you were going to be here for that conjunction, which was the ascension. And so often, for years, I talked about we are in this chrysalis stage. We are not the caterpillar. We are becoming the butterfly. The old world is dying and the new world is being reborn. And you know what, y'all? That's over. The old world is dead. It died. It's over. And the new world is here. And what that new world is going to look like is being shaped by every single one of us right now in this moment. By our breath, by our prayer, by our commitment to our ancestors, by our ability to tap into our healing work, by our ability to break cycles of trauma, by our abilities to tap into our true life's purpose, to tap into the work that we've come to do. Yes, Caroline, it is a magic number. That is where we are. And so you either, and the ascension is a mindset, right? I know a lot of people were laughing on social media. Everybody was like, Black people gonna get their superpowers, and everybody was talking about superpowers that they were gonna get. But you don't get to get powers if you're not doing the work, right? You don't just get powers when you wake up. You gotta put that work in. And so those of us who have been doing the work, who are continuing to do the work, and I know that all of you are because you wouldn't be here with me right now if you weren't. We have the opportunity to ascend into something bigger than even you can imagine. Right now, I want you to imagine yourself January 10th, 2022. Where do you want to be? What do you want your experience to be like? Most importantly, how do you want to feel? If you were to imagine the highest aspiration of what that looked like, I'm here to tell you that you have the opportunity to have an experience well beyond that. So it's like, take your highest evolution, your highest dream of who you are, and multiply it by 10, multiply it by 100. That's the help. That is the soil, right? That is ripe for the planting that we have before us if we choose to see, if we choose to embrace it, if we choose to ascend. And that is a choice that we have to make, sisters, every day. You might have to make it every time you take a new breath, because as you can see, we're already 10 days into the year. If you thought 2021 was going to be different as it relates to the death, doom, gloom, and destruction, you already see what it is. And I've stated over and over again, the only new normal, the new normal is uncertainty. That is the new normal. We are never going back, ever, to what we had before. We are only moving forward.